me.
And on to the next quick shot. It looks like Netflix and Pokemon got a thing going. We've already seen I think Netflix has like the old school Pokemon shows and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
very popular.
On there, and people are watching it.
They're
and
very
stuff.
successful.
I think my kids have even watched it
Yeah,
at some point.
they're very
on
successful on Netflix.
So, and apparently the Pokemon Pikachu, Detective Pikachu or whatever, was slightly popular enough for them to want to try more live action Pokemon again. I know we had talked about it before when this topic had been brought to the table and you mentioned it. And, I believe me and you both think that the Detective Pikachu movie wasn't that great, but we think that it wasn't that great for other reasons.
Right.
Opposite reasons or whatever. So you didn't think it was great because of why?
Well, I didn't think it was great because it wasn't the Pokemon movie that I wanted. I wanted the trainer battles, the standard Pokemon.
Okay.
And they went a completely different direction by just using like the Pokemon as like characters.
Yeah.
Rather than like what they actually are, battling little battle monsters.
So you wanted the movie to be more about the trainers and then them utilizing the Pokemon.
Yes, and battles.
Instead of it being like a kind of combination of Pokemon, one Pokemon and...
Yeah, and I didn't like them giving Pikachu a voice, like in a deep voice at that. That's more minor, but like I didn't care really for that.
Okay.
And because Pikachu's like adorable and cute, so I kind of wanted him to stay that way. And I just didn't find the story that interesting. I kind of was falling asleep during that movie.
Okay.
So
yeah, I didn't really care for Detective Pikachu because of the acting. I didn't mind, Ryan Reynolds being Pikachu and them kind of giving that when you call something, somebody's name is tiny but he's big as fuck. It's just kind of like a play on that.
Yeah.
Like it's this cute little thing, but he's got like this sass and and whatnot, something else.
The only difference I'll say to that is like that's fine when they're like just introducing the character, it's funny. But I've grown accustomed to who Pikachu is.
But you've also never had a voice on Pikachu. So it's
he says his name. He has a voice.
Yeah, that tiny little, that little tiny voice.
Yeah, and it changes. Pikachu, that is his voice. He changes the inflection. He draws it out. Pika. That's all. That's his voice. To me, that's Pikachu's voice. Mm-hmm. And so I've grown accustomed. So when you love something the way it is, it's different. Like if they just introduced like a new Pokemon and it was big and it had like a tiny little voice, I laugh at that. Mm-hmm. But it's when you take something that's already. So, I agree with you, but I'm saying when you take something that's already beloved for one way, I don't like them changing that. I didn't enjoy that.
Okay. But yeah, so apparently Netflix enjoyed at least the Pokemon aspect of the actual Pokemon aspect of Detective Pikachu.
The tech, right?
The
real
the
live
fact that
tech,
they're like
live action.
the Pokemon are out in the real world and stuff like that. The way they looked, and I thought that they actually looked pretty awesome.
I agree with that.
I thought that all of that was like dope. Looking at these characters in the real world.
Too.
I think we had got a glimpse of Mewtwo and some other stuff like that in that Detective Pikachu movie. So the fact that they're creating a series now, that they're already in the progress of creating a series for Netflix. I kind of have it could go either way for me. I hope that they get people that can actually act good in this movie so that it's really enjoyable. As far as the Pokemon, I think the Pokemon are going to win anyways, you know what I'm saying? They looked good in the movie, so if they keep that same type of technology that they use for the movie and do it in the show, it's going to look good in that way. But the thing for me that would make it more enjoyable is if the story and the actors actually were good. And I don't want them to just give me the same Ash Ketchum storyline.
So what I'll say to that is they can go in one of two directions, I think. They can go a story route. And if you're going to go a story route, then you need great writing. Because you don't just need good actors, you need great writing.
Right.
Right? So it's if you can give the best actor terrible writing, it's going to come off bad. An actor can only do so much with the writing and screenplay that they're given. So you can go that route. And then I'd agree, you really need to make sure you have a great new story. Not the same old thing, but a new story, good actors, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Or you can go in what I feel is like what I would just want is just the Pokemon trainer route. You know, like whenever I watched the original Pikachu or the original Pokemon TV show, I didn't care much about like the acting. I cared more about the battles, the different Pokemon he comes across, seeing him discover new Pokemon and what can those Pokemon do, like what are their
That's
capabilities.
all part of the story, though. Like all that's the story. The reason why he got into the battles, the reason he's doing what he's doing, or whatever. That's all part of the story.
For me, the story is his journey, him leaving on his journey. But what he finds along the way, I mean, it's a facet of the story. But you know what I'm saying? Like the story to me is like, you know, like I said, it's a facet of the story. But it's more so the story is like, what does he do along the way? So who did he meet? What trainers did he get? But that's not really acting to me. The story isn't really acting to me. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because you emphasize acting. So I'm saying like I care more about, you know, the premise. So I guess the premise is what matters to me more.
Okay.
I guess I'll say that. So more so than the story, the premise, the idea of a world that's full of unique creatures that are just being discovered and going out and collecting those and then battling with them. That premise is what I really liked about Pokemon.
Okay.
I thought the story was shallow.
So you just want to see people battling with Pokemon. You don't want to follow a specific person.
Yeah, like to me, the Pokemon story is a very shallow story. It's just a boy going out for an adventure.
Yeah.
The story, that's very shallow. There's nothing complex about that story.
Right.
It's not like the Green Knight that just came out, right? That has this very complex journey of chivalry, kindness, generosity, you know, really everything forcing into that notion. It's just like a very shallow idea. A boy goes out into the world to collect Pokemon.
Yeah.
But what's cool about it is they battle. Like to me, like I like that premise a lot. That's what I like about the Pokemon games. That's what I like about the Pokemon show. And so I would just prefer, I think it'd be cool to see that live action. I think that'd be a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, I agree it would be cool to see Pokemon battles and stuff like that with live action, but I feel like that's the reason why, you know, to me, Pokemon is so like whatever. Like I've played one, I've played them all because it is the same story. So if I can actually get a legit ass story that would draw me in, you know, like the things that happen in between the battles. Not every episode needs to have a battle for me, and it doesn't need to be all battles. Like I could have, you know, all of this, you know, going in steps, you know, like maybe 2 episodes, you know, are the journey to a location to battle or something like that. And then you see the battle. And then, you know, something happens and he moves on to another area or something other of a story or whatever. That's what I'm hoping for. It's just like an actual story of some substance for the Pokemon franchise. So that's what I'm looking for. But I understand, like, you know, the wanting to see the battles and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you want to see that. You want to see that at least. I mean, we didn't really get much of a battle.
Any of that in Pikachu
Pokemon
Detective.
I mean, we had Pokemon going against each other.
They had like it was like in the background, you saw it, but it wasn't like a part of the story, as you would say.
Yeah, it wasn't like the main thing
right.
or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, you know, so. But, you know, the Pokemon live action series, we don't know exactly when it's coming out, but it's interesting that they're doing it, and I hope it, you know, it turns out good. You know, hopefully it's at least to both of our likings. If it is, then, you know.
Well, I think one thing's for sure, we both want Pokemon battles.
Yeah, for sure.
Pikachu Detective didn't deliver on that.
Yeah.
So if they just go shallow, like the show, I'm happy. But of course, if they can somehow find a way to have a great story, you know, like Game of Thrones is a very deep story, then who wouldn't like that too? I would love that as well.
I mean,
but I'm just saying I want what I like it for.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to compare it to like, okay, like the movie, the first movie that had came out with like Mewtwo, and they were giving like the background story of Mewtwo and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's like the type of story, type of substance that I would want. Like there's there's a beginning and then an ending. It's not just battles. You know what I mean? I want like a full on story of some type. That was just different from him going to an island and then conquering the island with all, you know, all the gems and stuff like that, you know? There was like the story of Mewtwo in that movie. So that's the type of thing I'm talking about.
Like a side story?
Well, it would be the main story in this, but yeah.
So battling wouldn't be like in a gym. It'd be like out in the world because you're learning about Mewtwo's story. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't need the trainer go to a gym, try to challenge the gym leader type of story. I mean, he could do one as like, oh, it starts off as that, and then something else happens, and then he veers off to go to this or whatever, you know. He encounters something and then goes on a quest to find a mythical, you know, Pokemon or something like that, you know, that type of thing.
Okay. Yeah. But that one probably wouldn't be as exciting to me. I mean, I like the progression, the trainer progression more. So I don't know if I would like that, but as long as there's battles, I'd be happy to. So that helps. But anyways.
Yeah. So for the next
I love you, me.